Hey there, welcome one and all. It is Wednesday, March 18th, 2020, and thank you so much for joining me on my very first YouTube video. So I know that this will be, by most standards, very, oh, rustic, but I would like to share with you what I got this morning as far as asking Spirit what messages or what guidance it can give us as far as the coronavirus, how to proceed forward with it, and ultimately what lessons we'll learn from it. And if you haven't met me, or if you are a first-time watcher, my name is Catherine, and thank you so much for coming to my channel. So the first card that I pulled was the World, and that was when I was just asking, what basic guidance is this event trying to give us? And thus the World card came forward, and the World card is indicative of a cycle coming to its fruition. The World card represents we have come a complete circle. So this coronavirus is teaching us so much as far as our inner core value system. And it is teaching us which parts of our humanity we want to keep and which parts we need to make depart. I'm sure all of you have witnessed in your community some way, shape, or form people hoarding, people buying too much toilet paper, people basically going to the grocery store and buying anything that they can and emptying the shelves because of this apocalyptic type mentality that's going through the world right now. And we have to come from a place of compassion, and we have to have the knowledge that those people are acting out of nothing but fear. And if we can take that and know that's where they're coming from and try to help them dispel that fear, to let them know we are a community. And that's what it ultimately boils down to, everyone. We have to reach out to people. We have to reach out to our fellow human beings that feel isolated and alone and fearful, and let them know we're there. We're there with them. We are supporting them. And I think in America right now, we have this mass consciousness that everybody has to take care of themselves. No one can take care of others. And I think it's stemming largely from our president right now. He's a very successful businessman, yes, but he's made sure that he is taken care of. So it's sort of a mass consciousness right now, almost going through our veins as a community and as a country. And I think it's affecting the world population as well, because we want to say that we don't, but we, as the United States of America, we affect all other communities because of our outreach. And we have to just start acknowledging that and facing it. And we need to take ownership for it and say, okay, we're going to be the leaders, and we're going to come from a place of compassion and empathy and show the world really what we can be. And that is starting with people in our community that if you see are frightened, reach out to them. I know it's social distancing time, but reach out to them by email, a wave, a smile, anything will help. And everything helps the vibration come up if you can do that, okay? So yes, we're coming into this cycle, but it's almost like the world, literally, Mother Earth is saying, This is a cycle that needs to end, and you as a species have to step it up. And that's where we're at. We're at the make it or break it time. So when I asked then, as far as what is the coronavirus going to do as far as affect the community, I got obviously the Six of Wands, the Ace of Wands, the Knight of Swords, and the Death card. Now I know all of you guys are going to focus in on this because we all are human, and we are Homo sapiens, and we are animals, and yes, we have that fight or flight like ability of fear. We have to start looking at the bigger picture when we start feeling like that. So I don't want you to look at the Death card as the death card. The Death card can actually represent beautiful things. It represents change. It represents the ability for some cycle to end. So start looking at the positive. That's how we're going to be changing this whole cycle, is by being and remaining positive and changing our thought forms. The Six of Wands actually represents victory, achievement. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. But in the process, we have to motivate. The Ace of Wands represents a motivational factor, a gift from the universe to get things moving, to light that internal fire. And that is what this is doing. That is what the coronavirus is doing. And I am in awe of how accurate this spread is just by looking at the spread. So yes, the Ace of Wands, it's facilitating of movement within all of us to find that inner wisdom and to help our fellow man. We'll get there. We're so doing it. And so yes, it is, we are going to be victorious, but we are needing to go forward. See the man basically going in, he's going in to the lava, he's going into the fire. He's realizing he has to go through this so that he can get to where? The Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is impetuous, but the Knight of Swords also brings forth communication. It also brings forth a willing to be active in other people's lives, that air element of I am writing into the future and I'm knowing this is what I have to do. So yes, there's an impetuousness, but at the same time, he's there and he's realizing he has to communicate all the knowledge that he is learning. Okay, so now when I say he, I'm meaning masculine, because both of these cards are a masculine energy, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's only every man on the face of the planet, okay? It means that each and every one of us has a feminine and a masculine element in it. And these masculine elements are needing to change, okay? So the masculine element, the element of having to protect, wanting to make things grow, but also making it go in the direction that we want it to. That part of us is having to change because of this cycle. Okay. And then ultimately we have the Death card. And so the Death card, as I said before, a lot of people will be like, oh my gosh, that's so scary. I can't believe how many people are going to die from the coronavirus, right? Yeah, I'm going to be honest. We are all going to know at least one person who will die from this virus. It is a time of introspection. It is a time of knowing that will happen. But our actions now of going in and social distancing ourselves, So it limits the amount of people who are actually exposed to the virus, thus helping those people that are immune compromised, the elderly, anyone who's had any kind of major significant health issue as far as heart, lungs, respiratory illness, and diabetes. We're helping them. By socially isolating ourselves, we are helping our fellow man. We're being those compassionate people that we need to be. I mean, I can't even think of an easier way to be compassionate than to stay home. Right? We get to stay home. So think of it in that regard. And yes, we are going to know people who die from this. It's going to be very, very traumatic for all of us. And we will look back on this time going, gosh, what could I have changed and done differently? And I want to look back and say, I did everything I could. And I would encourage you to do the same, right? It's even making me emotional, right? Because I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for everybody involved, right? Because I'm going to come from that place of compassion and empathy. And ultimately, what are we going to learn from this experience with the coronavirus? The devil in reverse, right? Everybody's going to be like, oh my God, it's the devil. The same as the death card. No. The devil in reverse is actually very indicative of the fact that we are actually getting rid of any unwanted energies, or we're getting rid of any unwanted addictions. And this situation we're in, living in this pandemic world, we are having to change how we think. We are going to have to change how we relate to people. And we're going to have to change how we relate to Mother Earth. And that a lot of us have suppressed that by either having some kind of addiction, being drugs, alcohol, caffeine, sugar. I mean, there are a lot of different vices out there, but we're going to change our ways, and we're going to get rid of those old addictions, and also old addictions to monetary gain, to only think of oneself, to only put yourself first. And I think we're going to have to get rid of that addiction and to move forward. And by doing that, the Six of Cups represents nostalgia. It represents that love that you always had when you were a child. It actually can mean that different people from your past will be coming back into your life, which means we're revisiting how we used to be. We're revisiting how humanity used to be as a community, as a society, how we showed compassion for others, how we were there, how we would help. And that's what we're up against. That's what we're doing. And ultimately, we will get there again. But in the process, it's going to feel unfair. We're going to feel a level of injustice, as if the phrase, why me, is going to be coming up over and over and over again during this process. And it's normal. It's human. Why me? Why do we have to go through this as a community? It's because we're opening the door to a new way of life. We're basically saying old things are not allowed here anymore. We have to have the death of old paradigms and old thought forms, and we need to move forward as a society, as one society. And I'm not talking just, right now I'm currently in Boulder, Colorado, right? I'm not talking about just Boulder, or I'm just not talking about, northern Boulder where I'm living. I'm talking about the world as a whole. But it starts with everyone coming together and bringing love and light in this world. And we have to do that for each other. We just have to. And then at the very, very bottom of the deck, when I finished dealing, we had the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And the Three of Pentacles in reverse is, the Three of Pentacles upright actually usually means that we are laying the foundations. We are working hard, we're communicating with each other, and we're laying the foundations for a new structure, a new way of finding our roots. But it's in reverse. Okay, so what does that mean? It means we have to tear down those old foundations that we have built upon and start from scratch. And that is not going to be easy. It is not going to be like, oh, Rome was built in a day, wasn't it? No, it took centuries. And just think of all those beautiful Italian friends of ours over there. I mean, what they are going through and what they're trying to help us not go through over here in the US. All of their pleas, you know, to say, stop this, don't go out, social distance yourself. They've been so helpful as far as trying to warn us what we need to do. And I mean, just think of the pure size of the United States. You have to. I mean, how many Italys would sit inside the United States as far as just land population and as far as like the human population? I don't know exactly, but I would guess there are at least 25. So think of that, you guys. We're 25 times larger than Italy, and we're on the same path right now. The numbers are showing the same. We have to act now. We have to act now. And I'm going to start basically posting videos of different ways to help us during this period of time. I am a Reiki master, craniosacral therapist through the Upledger Institute, and an energy worker of all types. And I am going to do my best to share all the information that I have with you so that we can make this world a better place. And so we're going to get that information out there and we're going to spread it like wildfire. And just watch us, because you know what? We're going to prevail. We are going to be victorious. Much love and light to you, friends, and thank you for listening to my very first video. Bye-bye.